welcome back to another episode on Anxiety Doesn't Own Me podcast. My name is Emmanuel Isaacson, and I'm an anxiety coach who helps people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally. So on today's episode, what I'm going to be talking about is mindset, and it's going to be more specific on a certain thought than just having the right mindset in general, because our mind is so powerful. It's so powerful that we don't even realize that we are stuck in a certain loop. We are stuck in a certain box that we've created for ourselves. We have done that for ourselves. That's how powerful it actually is. And right now, our mind is just producing anxiety. And right now, it's telling you that, hey, maybe we cannot overcome this thing. Maybe we're going to be stuck like this for the rest of our lives. And that can really affect. It can really affect our anxiety, and it can even affect our emotional state because we believe a certain thing. We believe like, hey, this is what our life is going to be for the rest of our life, and we're not going to be able to overcome it. Now, that belief and that thought can come from different reasons that we have experienced. Like, for example, that we have tried to do certain things in order to overcome our anxiety, but it's not helping us. And we feel like, hey, I'm trying to overcome my anxiety. I'm doing this thing, but I'm still stuck. I feel like I'm still having anxiety. So what happens after a while, and remember, I experienced this, and this is very common to experience and to believe that after a while, like, hey, am I going to be stuck like this for the rest of my life? Am I going to be this way for the rest of my life? I am never going to be able to overcome this. I've tried so many times and I failed over and over and over again. And this is why, by the way, guys, I tell people that people with anxiety have the most persistence and the most, from what I have come to see, that they have such power in not giving up and trying things and pushing and becoming we're like fighters, honestly. That's what it is. We're fighters and we don't want to give up. Because if you realize we've tried so many things with our anxiety, but things aren't working and we're getting tired. We're like, hey, I'm trying so many things. This anxiety is so powerful and I'm trying to overcome this because anxiety is very powerful. It can literally paralyze us, not physically, but like mentally. It literally paralyzes us mentally that we can't do things. Nobody understands us. Nobody understands us. People that didn't go through anxiety. And we're every single day waking up, fighting this thing, trying to overcome, and we are most of the time being beat down. Now, how can we overcome this? How can we get outside of this box, outside of this belief system that we have made for ourselves, that we have created? Because again, our mind says like, hey, we tried this, we tried that. We're stuck like this for the rest of our lives. We're not going to be able to overcome this. And what we could do, a simple thing, is close your eyes and tell yourself, plant the seed that tell yourself that you're going to overcome your anxiety one day. And I want you to picture that in your mind. I want you to take a step back from all the thoughts and all the beliefs that you have and start changing the narrative. We have to change the narrative in our mind because our narrative hasn't been helping us. But if we tell ourselves, we put in that seed and tell ourselves that I am going to be able to overcome this. It's going to take some time. And then afterwards, just picturing yourself being anxiety-free, what would that mean for you? Would it mean that you're able to go places, do things, talk to people, whatever it is? I want you to picture that in your mind and tell yourself that that's what's going to happen. You'll see something very interesting starting to happen. Whenever your mind, because what you've been doing so far, if you realize that you tried things over and over again and not getting the results that you want, so your brain starts to think a certain way. But if you change that and tell yourself that I'm going to be able to overcome this and picture it in your mind, actually you overcoming it, our brain starts working differently and starts giving us hope unconsciously. We don't even realize it that we're actually doing that. Just from that little tiny thing, just from that little tiny thought, how much power that can actually have. And this can be applied with so many other things, not only with anxiety, with other things in your life that you're thinking to yourself. Let's say you have a job interview, right? And you think to yourself that I'm not going to be able to get this job. I'm going to look like a fool. They're not going to like me. Whatever it is, they are not going to accept me. Instead, start thinking to yourself that, you know what? They're going to love me. They're going to accept me in the job, and just picture in your mind getting the job. You come with a different kind of like confidence. You come there more confident because you built that seed in your mind, and you open up the possibility in your mind that, hey, I'm going to and I can get that job. So we think differently. Instead of thinking that we can't and we're not going to be able to, we think differently. Now, we can take this more specifically with certain situations that do cause anxiety. So let's say, for example, if you're driving and that's something that causes you anxiety, instead of every time going to the car and thinking to yourself, like, I'm going to get a panic attack. I don't want to get a panic attack. I'm going to freak out. Something bad is going to happen. Watch what's going to happen. I end up in the hospital. Stop for a second. Say to yourself and picture to yourself that the car ride is going to be peaceful. It's going to be calm. And even if you do get a panic attack, that you will be able to overcome it. You'll be able to control it. Plant that seed in your mind. Plant it in your mind so that way, whenever the situation comes, you're able to... Your mind, not even you, your mind will act differently. If you realize you're predicting the future, and that's what's going to happen. If a person thinks that he can't do a certain thing, he's not going to do it. But whenever we say to ourselves, you know what, I can't do that, and picturing ourselves doing it, our mind starts opening up to different possibilities. It starts being more creative. It starts acting differently. Instead of saying to ourselves, like, you know what, I can't do this. I'm not capable. I've tried before. I failed. It's not possible. I suck. It doesn't help you. Ask yourself, has that helped you so far? It hasn't helped you. The negative thoughts that we tell ourselves, does it help us? It doesn't help us whatsoever. It closes us and makes us feel inadequate. It makes us feel less valuable. But whenever we tell ourselves the opposite and tell ourselves, you know what? I can do this. I'm picturing yourself actually doing it. And again, whatever it is, whatever you want in your life, you will see how your mind starts being more creative, how you will start feeling differently. And the feeling, as you know, we need that. We need the motivation because, like I said before, anxiety, waking up with anxiety every single day, it's such a powerful force. And us fighting it takes so much energy that we need the resources. We need that resource, the energy, and the mindset that, hey, you know what? One day I will and I can and I am going to be able to overcome this struggle. And I'm telling you guys, once you overcome this struggle, you become a much stronger person because of what it forces you. It forces you to become a different person. It forces you to change. And in a good way, not in a bad way. Like for me, for example, if I never went through anxiety, I would not be the person that I am today. I would not do the things that I am today. And I would just be the person that I was before with a negative mindset, not growth-oriented, not being able to accomplish things, not believing in myself, and actually trying and taking risks in my life in order to achieve those things, I would still be the same person that I was once before. And I'm so grateful today that I did go through my anxiety, that I did overcome it because of the person that I am today, because of what it made me. But if I would not go through it, I don't know what would happen, but I do know what did happen. I do know what I am today. And I'm telling you guys, if you take it step by step, start with this thing. Start with this little mind because it all comes from our mindset. Start with this little exercise and picturing yourself being anxiety free. What would that mean to you? What would that be like? What would that be like? And you'll see it'll give you more motivation in overcoming your anxiety to push more forward, and you actually feel much better. And it also will take away, in a way, the anxiety and calm it down, because again, your mind is not focusing on the anxiety and it's focusing more on the good things that can actually happen, that are happening, because our mind cannot differentiate between what's real and what's not. It cannot differentiate. It believes whenever we think of a negative thing, we feel that negative thing. But whenever we think of a positive thing, we feel that positive thing, and we want to instill more of that positivity in our lives. If you did like this episode, please click the like button and leave a 5-star review. The reason why I ask is because this way we're able to reach more people, and the more people that we can actually reach, the more people that we can actually help. Because my mission in this world, my purpose, is to help people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally and show them that it's possible to overcome. Thank you guys. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.